All right, folks. This is the semiotician coming to you with the quickest gun in the West. I have a tournament this weekend, and it is a invitational tournament through the Legacy of the North, which I qualified for in part because of the crazy run that I went on with Is It Cutter. Part of me thinks that in order to maintain continuity with my with the manner in which I've qualified for this event, I should just play Cutter at it. But I've been having a serious hankering to play some Doomsday again. And when I watched Kai's stream the other day, he played a pretty sweet looking Doomsday list that recalls the list that he designed last year and which I played at Eternal Weekend, which is the 6-cycler. I called it Hyper Turbo Doomsday because I think it's a little more low to the ground. And I got pretty excited about Kai's other list. He had some like crazy card choices in there using like Fluster Storms. He had like 4 Cabal Rituals, all these like sweet cards. And it got me excited about Doomsday again. And I figured it's the day before the event. I haven't played this deck before. I guess I should say this is not Kai's deck. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. This is not Kai's deck. This is a deck by Wakame, who we played, many of Wakame's decks on the channel recently. This here is Wakame's list. It's really cool. It got my juices flowing because Wakame has 4 Street Wraiths in it. But then they were cutting, so they're not playing Cabal Rituals like Kai's list. And then they're also cutting Thought Seizes for Pact of Negation, which I think is actually brilliant in a way. I'll explain that in more detail in a second. And then, against my better judgment, I just decided to make my own sideboard. But I have to give a shout out to Wakame here. So let me walk through at least the rationale. All this is prefaced by the fact that I have not played this particular variation before. This is all just little theories in the silly semiotician's head. So what does this deck have to offer? We've got our 16 lands. Instead of playing basic swamp, we're playing a 9th fetch land, which isn't bad in terms of playing around Wasteland. We still have the Cavern of Souls in the main deck. Kai had moved this cavern to the sideboard and only plays 15 lands, but I don't know. Like, I understand playing 15 lands makes sense to me because this version of the deck, you're trying to condense the entire game down to like 3 turns. So you don't need to make all your land drops in those turns because like the third land drop can come in your pile or whatever it may be, right? The deck though, so like when you go the 6-cycler route, the deck gets close to Vintage Doomsday. Vintage Doomsday plays 4 Street Wraiths, and then they have Gataxian Probe, and I guess Gush would be considered the other free cycler. Obviously, Gush is in a league of its own and does not really compare to these cyclers at all. But when you have 6 cyclers in your deck, you're more likely to have a cycler or 2 cyclers in hand when you cast Doomsday, which means that you can execute like very quick, low resources piles. Now, when you're doing hyper turbo like this, and so I would define hyper turbo by the inclusion of 2 extra Street Wraiths, you're also playing like the full 4 personal tutors. You've got Dark Rituals. This deck is playing no Cabal Rituals, but we've got a full 8 suite here of mana producers in Lotus Petals and Dark Rituals. And then we're not playing Thoughtseize, which is probably strange. I personally love Thoughtseize in this format. I just played Saga Storm in the last video, and I think I started out by saying like I love casting discard spells in this format, and here I am playing a Dimir deck today that doesn't have any discard spells in it. But what I really like about Wakame's take here is like we're playing 2 Pact of Negations, which is a pretty solid card on the turn that you go off. And if you have like 2 Street Wraiths in your hand, you can like one of those can become an Oracle at the end of the day, and the other can be a Pact of Negation to beat Endurance, Disruptor Flute on the turn that you go off. If you set it up right, it can stop Kozilek's Command. This card is a huge catch-all so long as you're going to win the game the turn it goes off. Now with Hyper Turbo Doomsday, every decision you make matters a lot, and every like mana that you use matters a lot. And sometimes like you don't have time. Like so at Eternal Weekend last year, I wasn't playing 4 Ponders because I just didn't have time to cast Ponder, which sounds silly because Ponder's a 1 mana card, right? But if you look at the way the interaction suite of like what Wakame came up with here, I think this is brilliant. Look at this. All of our interaction is free. So when you're trying to win the game within 2 turns, the stock on days goes up because your opponent doesn't have hasn't made enough land drops in order to play around the days. So days is like really good. I can see playing 4 days in the deck. Then you have Force of Will, also very good because it's free interaction. And then you have 2 Pact of Negations, which is also free interaction. So your Doomsday deck, every means through which you can interact with your opponent in the main deck is free, which means that you don't have to spend any of your mana resources in order to defend your Doomsday, which means that the mana can be used to cycle through your pile, put Oracle on the stack, and cast the Doomsday itself. So in theory, this is awesome to me. I don't know how it's going to work in practice, but Wakame got a couple of back-to-back 5-0s with the deck, I noticed, and so I thought I would give it a try. Last year at Eternal Weekend, Dimir Reanimator was still the best deck in the format, or was the perceived best deck in the format going in. I think Mystic Forge ended up actually being the best deck of that tournament, the American one at least. I mean, that was borne out in the results pretty clearly. But my point is that like everybody respected the graveyard, but my sideboard last year, I didn't play a single graveyard hate spell, no Fairy Macabres, no Leyline of the Voids, no like extirpates, no Nihil spell bombs, not a single way to interact with the graveyard. And you might think it's crazy to not play any graveyard hate spells in your 75, but I think that there's like real value to just like not diluting the core kind of like functionality of your deck by putting in Fairy Macabres. And like sometimes, or like when Blue-Black Reanimator is just like pivoting off their combo, maybe even just going into tempo to beat us, or, you know, like they don't need to resolve their combo in order to win. It's like unclear whether or not Fairy Macabre or something like that is actually like worth bringing in. And I thought that Bryant Cook said something very smart in one of his videos that I watched recently. He said, I started winning more against Reanimator. This is in the context of the Epic Storm, when I stopped like boarding in graveyard hate against it. That's fascinating, right? Because if you think about a Storm deck, like even when we were playing Black Saga Storm the other night, Tony Scapone's list, we weren't even really sideboarding in our surgical extractions against Reanimator, even though we're playing against Reanimator. And I think the same can be said about Doomsday. Also, we're just like, I mean, people will think this is ridiculous, but I think that we are a better combo deck than Blue-Black Reanimator as well, right? Because our combo is just 1 card, and it's supported by pretty much the same suite that the Blue-Black Reanimator deck is supported by, except our combo doesn't go through the graveyard. It only requires 1 hand, and it kills instantly when it resolves. Whereas like with Atraxa, you got to like pitter around with some combat steps. and so I think there's a lot going for Doomsday right now, especially when it's built in this extraordinarily fast manner. The name of the game here is to go underneath, right? To try to win first. And so we're going to see how well we can bring that into practice. And the other huge benefit here is that this deck does not go through the graveyard at all. So in a format where our opponents are like main decking Nihil spell bombs and removal spells, the fact that our deck blanks like all of your fatal pushes, all your removal spells, all of your Nihil spell bombs, like against like I think I saw some Blue-Black Tempo lists, like Bosch and Roll at Buffalo Chicken Dip was playing like 3 main deck Nihil spell bombs in Blue-Black Tempo. And it's kind of like our deck gets virtual card advantage by just not going through the graveyard and not playing any creatures that can be killed by it. Let's move on to the sideboard just to carry on that point as well. I'm not playing any creatures in my version of this sideboard today. Why am I not playing any creatures? Well, I think some people, I mean, there's a real tendency for Doomsday players to juke to Barrowgoyf or Shieldred, and that's just like a super known thing that people do nowadays. And so oftentimes you're going to leave in like, you know, one or two removal spells to try to not be dead to the juke. But like our juke is just that we're not juking. So you're going to leave your fatal pushes in and we're still going to have that virtual card advantage. Wakame's list had some graveyard hate, had like let's just bring it up here. They had only one Duress, a Flusterstorm, a Nihil Spellbomb, an Unearth. I think this is probably a way to beat Disruptor Flute if I had to guess. But I've swapped Oracle for Jace to give us a way to beat Disruptor Flute in that manner. And then there's Vision Charm, which I maintained. I love Vision Charm. He had some removal spells, or they had some removal spells, which I decided to cut, and I'll explain all that in a second. But this was Wakame's sideboard, and this is the one that I mean, I just kind of haphazardly threw this together, but there's a few things I'd like to note about it. First of all, I think Flusterstorm is fantastic in this format, especially against Blue-Black Reanimator. That's one thing that I learned from watching Kai's stream the other day, the undefeated run with his deck. He didn't play against Reanimator in it, but in theory, Flusterstorm is like very good against Entomb. It's very good against Reanimate. It's very good at protecting our Doomsday. And it's just, I think, an all-around very powerful card these days. I don't know if 3 is too many. Maybe 2 is the right number, but we're going to run 3 today. I've upped to 4 discard spells because I do still want to have a way to respect the combo decks in the format. And so we're going to play 4 Duresses today. They don't deal damage to us. We're playing 4 Street Wraiths, so it makes sense to me that we can trim like not play Thoughtseize to kind of conserve our life total with Duress. We've got 4 Force of Negations as our way to interact with the stompy Chalice of the Void decks. And then we've got 4 One of Fun of spicy meatballs here in the form of Manamorphose, which is our way to beat a resolved Blood Moon post Doomsday. So Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Doomsday, Manamorphose on top, tap my mountains, use, and then make 2 blue, draw immediately down to my Thassa's Oracle. I think that's awesome. I'm playing Vision Charm. Wakame was playing Vision Charm, and I love this card. I played this card before. No one ever plays around it. No one ever expects it. It beats like Karn Lattice Lock. It beats Disruptor Flute. It beats Endurance because you can like kind of build your own Thassa's Oracle Demonic Consultation type deal where you put the Oracle on the stack, they Endurance all your shit, and then you mill the 4 cards back into your graveyard post Endurance and win anyways with the Oracle trigger. It also helps against Painter, right? So you can have like, if you have either Oracle or Vision Charm in hand, you could have Oracle on the top of your pile, draw Oracle, cast Oracle, trigger on the stack, and then Vision Charm yourself. And now their Grindstone doesn't work as fruitfully. The thing that Vision Charm stock has gone down with the Saga rule. So before, the reason this card was like so good, like very, very good, because Urza Saga is exceptional against Doomsday. It's one of the cards you hate to see, especially when boots are involved, because you can just be dead out of nowhere. And before the Saga rule change, you could actually like change all Urza's lands into like mountains and just kill Urza Saga in the same way that you would kill a Blood Moon. But we don't have access, or sorry, in the same way that Blood Moon would kill Saga, but we don't have access to that line anymore. And so the stock goes down a little bit there, but I think the fact that it answers Endurance by giving us a mill while also phasing out artifacts is sick. And to that end as well. And then also phasing is important because with respect to Disruptor Flute, it has Flash. So if I were to like into the Flood Maw a Disruptor Flute and they have 2 mana up, they can just recast it. Whereas Vision Charm phases out the Disruptor Flute and means that it's just there, but they can't redeploy it, which is awesome. And then Reality Ripple does the same thing for 1 extra mana, but it also hits creatures. So we can beat like Doorkeeper Thralls, Opposition Agents, Orcish Bowmasters, things like that with Reality Ripple. And then the last spicy meatball that we're going to consider today is Commandeer, which is a card that I know is near and dear to the great Wonder Pro's heart. A long while ago, Wonder Pro had a list where he had two Commandeers in the sideboard. So exile 2 blue cards from your hand rather than paying this card's mana cost. This is a pretty shitty force of will. But you gain control of target non-creature spell, and you can choose new targets for it. Okay, what do we want to commandeer? Well, commandeering a Karn the Grey creator against Mystic Forge is very fucking good. Because it just shuts down their entire deck and gives you a Karn. I guess we don't have any artifacts in our deck that we could Karn tutor for. That would be hilarious to have like some kind of funny artifact in our sideboard that we could then grab off the Karn. But we're not going to stoop to those levels. And then also commandeering like a Reanimate on Atraxa seems pretty freaking good to me as well. So I want to play a Commandeer today. And I think the reason we can support it is that like in certain matchups, we might bring Flusterstorms in to protect the Commandeer. And look at our blue count in this deck because we're not playing Thoughtseizes. Sort by color. 25 blue cards in my Doomsday deck because I'm playing fucking Pact of Negation. What? This is sick, right? Like I'm pretty excited about this. I think that's about all I've got to say about the deck. The other thing that I just like about it is like look how quad laser this is. It's pretty much just 4s all the way down. Except for like the few things that aren't 4s, but there's a lot of 4s, and I kind of like to see it. Let's change these fetch lands, though. I don't know why we're playing into like Pithing Needles like this, especially when we don't have Swamp in our deck. So let's get some Rainforests in here just to optimize our chances. We'll get a Misty. Oh, there's already a Misty there. Right, we're playing 9 fetches. So 3 Misties. We can get a Scalding Tarn as well. And maybe the Scalding Tarn can come at the cost of a Delta. At that point, let's cut 2 Deltas. I know Kai prefers not to play any Deltas at all. There we go. But I think this is probably sufficient. I don't know. Let me know what you think about this. Maybe the sideboard's crazy. Like this is like I just made this sideboard up kind of like on the spot. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to map, but that's one thing we're going to figure out while playing. But yeah, I'm pretty freaking amped about this Doomsday deck. And so this is going to be my like last minute play 5 matches with it before my tournament tomorrow. If this league goes really poorly, I'm still going to post it because fuck yeah, I don't care to embarrass. I don't care if I embarrass myself in front of a bunch of you folks on the internet. And so yeah, if this goes poorly, I might just end up on Cutter. I have Cutters right here sleeved up, and we've got Black Saga Storm right here. I have to kind of merge those 2 decks into Doomsday when I'm done this if it goes well. But let's see what's up here. I like the way that this looks. This deck, it's like the first Doomsday deck I've seen in a while where I've been like, yes, like everything makes a good deal of sense to me. All right, let's see how we do here. Alrighty, we've got our first opponent here, Storm 994. All right, we won the die roll. This hand desperately needs a Doomsday. Doesn't have the best way to find it, but we do have 1 Surveil land. We've got a Force of Will with a Daze plus another Daze to rebuy our Surveil land, and then a Cycler if we do find the Doomsday. I think I'm going to give this one a shot, especially if our opponent's playing Storm, which, I mean, we can't be sure that they are, but who knows, right? Let's play a Misty Rainforest and ship her on back to our opponent here. See what they've got cooking for us. Once upon a time, should I daze this? I never know. They're just going to jam it out. This could be oops. Oh, it's lands. Joyous. Mox Diamonds. Discard the Thespian stage you just picked up. Play Urza Saga. Pass. Now, do we want to surveil here and expose our land to a wasteland? I think we're going to. It's rather unfortunate, but I think we're going to. Spin this force. It's not what we're looking for. Draw a card. It's a street wraith. I'm going to cycle wraith here. Jace. Play flooded strands. I guess we'll pass. I think we're going to cycle this. These draws have not been the best, though. Now we don't have a cycler to crack into our pile. Things have not developed as we would prefer them to, for sure. Let's pass. It seems like our opponent can't make an Urza Saga construct now, though, which is freaking awesome for us. Like, that's really good. It's possible the cycle on this Street Wraith was too aggressive because we have to anticipate we're getting Wastelanded, which means we need to burn the edge. So I probably shouldn't have used this Street Wraith when I did, although at the time it kind of felt like it wasn't a bad idea. What does our opponent have? They're not doing anything. Oh, great. Fuck me, man. I always forget about that. It's funny that it still might be, yeah, it's still just more correct to name Street Wraith. Fair enough. At least we have a land, I guess. The fact that there's just not two constructs on the table is really good. Yabamaya pass, huh? Doomsday. What does our pile look like here? I think we cast it. Dark Ritual. Doomsday. I really want to protect this land. Crop rotation. What are they crop rotting for? I think I'm going to protect my land here. If they're giving me the opportunity to protect my land, I'll take it. I think I let them rot. Okay. Bajuka Bog, clear some cyclers. Our street rates are no good here. Got a land in hand. Island. Edge of Autumn. Brainstorm. Lion's Eye Diamonds. Something like this work? Maybe we would rather it just be like that. Ground C on the bottom. Edge of Autumn. Lion's Eye Diamonds. Island. Brainstorm. Underground C, go. Crop rotation. Force of will, pitching. Jace, perhaps? Let's force pitch Jace here. I'll go all in on Thassa. Draw Brainstorm. I think I'll just pass. End step. Cast Brainstorm. Put like that. Go to our turn. Play Island. Cast Oracle. And yep, that'll do it. Okay. A little messy, I think, but we got there. Against lands, we don't really have a lot for lands. Against lands, we want Force of Negations and Vision Charm, perhaps. We don't want Dazes against lands. And It's unclear if we want Pact of Negation or not. It's not a bad idea to me. It is a way to beat the flute and all those things. I guess Cavern of Souls is probably not needed against lands. It's funny boarding out a land against lands, but yeah, I mean, this looks pretty clean to me. We want the Force of Negations because it can stop like turn one exploration. It can stop main phase things like Disruptor Flutes. This hand is excellent as far as I'm concerned. We shall keep it. We even get to go basic island personal tutor here. Wow, huh? All right, let's keep it up. Boseiju who endures. Okay, so I don't know that this is the fight we want to fight here. I'm going to let it go. I think you should probably force this because their deck's like pretty bad without it. Yep, Needle's fine too, I guess. Don't name Polluted Delta. Street Wraith again. Okay. 3 cards left in hand. Draw Underground Sea. Pick up Basic Island. Put Doomsday on top of our deck. Oh man, if we had a Cycler, we'd be in a super good spot here, but that's all right. Rumble's fine. Rumble Stiltskin. Took the Expedition map. Play out the map. We'll draw Doomsday. Play Underground Sea. We'll go Dark Ritual. We'll go Doomsday. Street Wraith is turned off. So we're going to need some Edges of Autumn. I don't know that they played 2 Pithing Needles. That would be funny if they played 2 Pithing Needles. We've got Force of Will for Endurance or Flute. Take Oracle. Oracle, Cycler. And then Underground Sea. It's very unlikely that we'll be able to Jace as well. So maybe I just take like Vision Charm as the last skipper. So we'll put C on the bottom. Vision Charm on top of C. Thassa's Oracle, Edge. And then if they do have second Needle, we can Ponder to the Oracle, I guess. I doubt they play 2 Needles, though. That seems crazy, right? Wow. Sure. Huh. Stage, Caracas, Saga. That's fine. Double Pithing Needle, huh? Okay, so they loamed back Urza Saga, Thespian Stage, Caracas to their hand. They played Urza Saga and Thespian Stage. They played Mox Diamond. They discarded Caracas. I think I have to wait a turn here. We have Vision Charm, Ponder. There's another Edge. I'm going to pass one more. Like, I could just put Oracle on the stack right here, but it's not with the kind of protection I would like. So let's pass one more time. Wasteland. A single Wasteland won't be enough, but I guess they can Wasteland, Loam Wasteland. Wasteland. Ooh, okay. Maybe passing again there was not the best idea. I think I screwed us by passing again there. So now they might just redeploy this Wasteland again. Oh, that was really good for us. It would have been much better for them, I believe, if they held it. Oh, and they're going to Boseiju you my land. Yikes. Oh, let's shuffle again. Now, of course, I guess we play Ponder here. Use Ponder's ability, no. Pass the turn. We've got Force of Will, Pitch, Vision, Charm. This is crazy. All brought to us by the second Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle's a good card. I don't know about this Puddle, though. They need Ghost Quarter, I believe, to win this game. Ghost Quarter or like Flute plus Endurance. I feel like they would have fluted by now, though. Non-basic land. Thank God. Oh, thank God. It says non-basic land. That'd be so good if it didn't say that. Sending it back to us, we'll casually draw the last card of our deck. So we got to hope they don't have double endurance, which I suppose is something that they can have, but we're not in a position to do anything about that. All right, Flute doesn't matter anymore. They just can't have two endurances. I assume this is the endurance. Once upon a time. Got him. And we had the force backup. Oh, yes. Hyper turbo, baby. All right, well, we're off to a good start so far. All right, one match down. I'd like to play ideally against some blue-black Tempo, blue-black Reanimator, or Corey Steelcutter, because those are the matchups I'm less light bit concerned about. But yeah, that felt pretty good. I mean, it got a little dicey with the second card there. It kind of seems like they just didn't have anything that whole time, which is kind of funny because we played like super cautiously. Like we pretty much just natural drew through our entire pile. And opponent made a really good effort to punish us for taking things super slow. It's matchups like lands where you would actually prefer the Manamorphose in our sideboard to be a second copy of Island. But sometimes you don't have enough time to set up two islands against your opponent, you know, your prison opponent. Huh. This hand's got a lot of mana. I might mull it, honestly. It's just looking for a Doomsday, but we don't really have an effective way of finding it. This one's at least got a Daze and some cantrips. I guess we can keep this. We can probably bin consider. And I guess I'll just lead on a Ponder here. P Tutor plus Petals, not bad. I think I prefer drawing Petal over Thassa's Oracle, though I could be wrong about that. Let's Daze a Grim Monolith, shall we? Fuck me, huh? I was right. I just had a feeling. Manifold Key. I'm not going to Daze the key, I don't believe. Things could get slightly dicey. Personnel Tutor. Doomsday on top. We're not going to show them the Petals because we don't want them to think Karn is a good idea. We get to Daze here as well if given the opportunity. Like if this is a Monolith, I'm dazing so hard, harder than anyone's ever seen. Draw Doomsday. Play Lotus Petal. Play Lotus Petal. Play Doomsday. Could just build a Jace pile here. 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I missing? Brainstorm. We've already got the Brainstorm. What does this look like? Right. Did I fuck myself on the Jace because of the fetch? Or doesn't it matter? I don't think it matters. Done. Underground Sea on the bottom. Oracle on top. Jace. LED. Street Wraith. We can daze here too, but the daze probably isn't going to be good enough. We just got to hope our opponent can't kill us on their turn. They're holding something up, like the fact that they just did nothing signals to me that they've got Disruptor Flute or they've got Kozilek's Command, and they're going to try to get us with the draw step, but the Jace kind of nullifies all that. Grim Monolith. I think I'm just going to daze the Monolith here. Bet you wish you played the land you have in your hand, right? That should slow them down just enough for us to cross the finish line. So if I fetch here, we'll have 3 cards left in deck. Have I done this right? I believe that I have. Oracle with Jace on top. Cast Lion's Eye Diamond. Hold priority. Hold control. Cycle this. Trap that for triple blue. Draw Jace. Tap blue. Jam Jace. Jace to the face. All right. Lemon squeezy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Da, 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 da. Ruh-roh. Okay. Joking aside. I hope we can fucking do it. I'm gonna live to do it, folks. Against Forge, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to bring both of these ripples in, but maybe that's slowing down too much. We certainly cut our dazes. And then we cut Cavern of Souls as we did before. And then from here, it's kind of dicey what we want to cut. Like, I don't mind bringing in Vision Charm, and I think I don't mind bringing in Reality Ripple, but maybe the Ripple's like too slow. But in that case, like, why are we even playing Reality Ripple? It's a great fucking question. Like, I suppose we could cut... I don't want to cut Personal Tutor. We could cut a Cycler. Like, that's always an option. We could also just cut down to 14 lands, but that could be getting a little dicey. We also have to cut 2 cards. Right. Well, let's not bring in Reality Ripple. But if we're not bringing it in, why is it there? I guess it phases out Chalice, and it costs 2 mana, which is important in that scenario. Ponder strikes me as a tiny bit slow. And we're actually going up, so we sort by mana value, sort by color. We should have 26 blue cards. Is Pact of Negation the kind of card that we want in this matchup? I guess that's the other thing that we could cut like a Pact for the Reality Ripple. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, I don't mind that. All right, let's see here. Mystic Forge on the play, so things are going to get a little more complicated now. We don't have a Force of Will. I think we keep this hand though, right? Personal Tutor's kind of shit. I'm going to keep though. We've got Doomsday, we've got Brainstorm. We don't have a means of interacting, but we'll see. We could just be dead on like turn 2 the way that this deck is constructed now too. Planar Chaos, Planar Nexus, Mishra's Research Desk. Sacrifice this artifact, exile the top 2 cards of your library, choose one of them. Till the end of your next turn, you may play that card. Weird. Okay. Cool. Very well, opponents. Does that mean that they're not playing? I think they're playing. I think we just sewers here. It's unfortunate we can't Brainstorm for protection. That Brainstorm I'm going to put to the old binners. Maybe they're playing like Scaponi Saga, some kind of Scaponi Storm deck. Passing again. Okay, I don't know. They're going to try to construct us. Force of Negation, excellent draw with our personal tutor here. I think I just float Misty. I don't know that I want to. Don't know that I want to just jam my brainstorm willy-nilly. We don't have Force of Wills that we're like drawing into or anything like that. So, Disruptor Flute, huh? In my end step, I suppose I'll brainstorm in response to that. Oh, there's the Force of Will. 1, 2, 3, 4. So Doomsday definitely goes back here. Doomsday goes back here. Will Force of Will pitch? I guess Doomsday goes back with Pedal on top. And then we Force of Will pitch Personal Tutor. And they can go to their turn. The Flute's gone. Get wrecked, Flute. And we might even just want to draw the Personal Tutor. Or the fuck. We might just want to draw the Lotus Petal. That is sick. I kind of hate the font of Ancient Tomb, but the art is dope. Another Flute. Fanya. So we don't quite get to win here with the Lotus Petal. I don't believe we get to win here with the Lotus Petal because we need another card. So I think I'm fine getting rid of the petal. So funny. Underground Sea. Doomsday, I guess. Hopefully we don't get Karn Latticed. We have Reality Ripple. Actually, Reality Ripple is a sick draw because it means we can build a pile with Force of Will that then cycles 1, 2, 3 to Oracle. I don't think they can make a construct, so maybe we can conserve life total a little bit like this. And then I suppose they can get Pithing Needle off of this Urza Saga and name Street Wraith, which might screw us. Am I supposed to leave a card? They've had 2 flutes already. I'm just going to put the Oracle on the bottom. Maybe that's not even true. Maybe I'm just supposed to go... Am I just supposed to go like this? Okay. I think I just go like an imperfect pile. Maybe that comes back to bite me somehow. We'll see. We shall see. I'll cycle my edge right now. And then hopefully they name Street Wraith. Grindstone. Oh, fuck me, I guess. I did not know they were playing Painter. Now we're dead because of the way I stacked my pile. Shit. All right. Painter. Oof. All right. Guess we go again. That was unfortunate. That feels bad, man. So I just put them on Mystic Forge, and then we just got completely trounced there. Funny that we would not have lost had I actually just stacked the pile to not play around Pithing Needle with the Street Wraiths above the Oracle. So stupid. This is so fucking stupid. Oh well. Being on the play, would we prefer Force of Negations? So are they playing blue painter? Like, we haven't seen blue cards. What a strange deck. Like, colorless painter with, like, I don't know what's happening. Mulligan. Guess we keep this. Do I put Pact on the bottom? I guess. Play Delta. I don't think I'm going to toot here, because we don't have a way to cast the Doomsday on the following turn if I did. Just the straight up. So they did have the needle. So we were playing, like, well, we were playing around the needle. We weren't playing around the grindstone. Surveil. Land will keep, I guess. And I think needle can go. Probably name Street Wraith. Maybe they name Jace Wielder of Mysteries. Street Wraith it is. Okay, so now that we've got this, does it make sense to brainstorm now? I kind of don't. What are we looking for? Probably doesn't make that much sense. Let's fetch. Grab Underground Sea. In case we need to Vision Charm, I guess. Personal Tutor. We'll put Doomsday on top of our deck. Hopefully our opponent can't play and grindstone us. But if they can, I guess Bob's their uncle. Tower for 4 mana. Basalt Monolith's totally fine. Tezzeret, Cruel Captain. I'll brainstorm now. Fawn Pitch Tutor. Opal, Manifold Key. Pass. Draw. Petal. Doomsday. Just go Oracle. Jace. Street Wraith is named. Underground Sea. Underground Sea. We're like 1 mana short. I think we're going to lose this game, unfortunately. Something tells me it's like mine to lose, though. We have this Vision Charm. I don't know. Let's do this. I don't think this is the right pile. Jace on the bottom. Underground Sea. Ponder. Oracle. Something like this, maybe. I don't know if this is quite right. Hope we don't just get lattice, Karn latticed. Is this enough to Karn lattice? Maybe I wasn't supposed to counter the Cruel Captain. One mana short here. This was unfortunate. We were dead to this no matter what. Okay. Well, this hand sucks. We'll mulligan it. This hand is kind of sick. I think I'll keep Cavern. Let's see what they want to do. Bloodstained Mire. I think I'm just going to jam here. They have it, they have it. Play around days at least. Doomsday Zan. We've got Cavern in hand. We'll grab a Thassa's Oracle. We'll grab an edge, an edge, a wraith, and a wraith. See if they want to show us what they're playing. Could be an EOT Entomb into a Reanimate, but with the Cavern, I think there's... Okay, good. We don't even have to contend with that at this juncture. Delta. So Bowmasters, I guess, can be problematic here. Okay, they don't have Bowmasters. Wizard. Cast. Thassa's Oracle. I don't think there's anything in their deck that stops this. Yep. Entomb was shown to us as well off that Surveil. They probably had a Daze in hand. We played around Daze perfectly with our combo, which is better than theirs. Okay, how do we want to sideboard against Reanimator? You would think I would have thought about this before we began, but that is not entirely true. I don't know if Commandeer is too cute, but I kind of fucking want to try it. Okay, so there's 8 cards for Reanimator. I think against Reanimator, we don't need the Pact of Negations. This strikes me as more of like a beating endurance kind of thing. I think we can... Well, Personal Tutor's excellent at fighting through Thoughtseize, because you can always just turn one Personal Tutor, put Doomsday on top of your deck where they can no longer be Thoughtseized. I like all of my Cyclers against them. It's possible that we can cut all of our forces. Then we're on the draw, so like Daze isn't quite as good. I suppose we could cut a Daze. And they're not going to be using removal spells against us, right? So I think we can get rid of Consider. What does this look like? Sort by mana value. Sort by color. 21 blue cards for Commandeer is not like quite the best. But I think I'm down for it here. Commandeer is probably too cute. Maybe it just shouldn't even be in the deck at all. But if we can Commandeer a Reanimate, wouldn't that be funny? This hand blows chunks to a Thoughtseize. We'll mulligan. This hand's pretty sick. We'll put Jace on the bottom, I guess. And yeah. All right. Underground Sea, Thoughtseize. Underground Sea, Tamiyo, sure. Yeah, see, Tamiyo against Duress is so good. Like, it just feels so bad to Duress our opponent now, right? Another land. So I actually think we have to kind of hold our Duress, but maybe it's bad to hold our Duress. Let's Duress them just to kind of get a sense of what they're cooking with over there. Okay. Bowmasters. I guess we take Reanimate. We'll leave them with Daze. We're going to play out our Lotus Petal to play around their Daze on their Bowmasters. And then we're going to bait their Bowmasters with our Brainstorm and Daze it on our turn, I think. Okay. Tamiyo's going to come in. Oh, they're just going to flip their Tamiyo. Okay. Yeah, we don't like to see this. That was an excellent draw for them. Now our Duress was so bad. So maybe I'm not even supposed to bring Duress in against them. But then why am I playing Duress? Whoa. Uh-huh. Another one of those. Well, let's cast Brainstorm. What if I just hide Doomsday? Like, I recognize I can put Doomsday on the stack through a Daze here, but they also just Brainstormed. I'm going to hide Doomsday. I guess they're going for the full Monty here. We'll daze them. That, like, because they were going for a Tamio return reanimate and Tomb reanimate. Now they're returning Entomb. They still have Entomb reanimate. They still have Daze as well. They almost certainly find a force here, right? So one thing we could do is try to Hail Mary Brainstorm into like Commandeer +2 blue cards. But then we lose our Doomsday. I think I'll take my chances with an Atraxa. Maybe they take Consign over Force, so then we can beat him with Jace. Is that even true? It's not true. They chose... I think we're dead here. We're going to get Thought Seized now. And they still have Force in their hands. So we'll take our Brainstorm here. Yeah, I think this one's over. Being on the play, I'm going to remove a Duress. Bring a Daze back in. And yeah, that'll be that. So they're still in the combo. They didn't juke off of it. I guess we'll keep this one. Play Delta. I'm just going to pass. We'll use our Brainstorm to protect our Doomsday from a Force and get this Jace out of our hand, ideally. And by that, I mean protect our Doomsday from a Thoughtseize. Tamio again. Yep. Polluted Delta. I guess Dark Ritual's pretty sick. There's no way we can just fire this Doomsday now, though. So I think I'm going to start with a Brainstorm here. That's just about a lot of nice things. Get rid of Jace, and I think we can get rid of this LED too. Play out Scaldy T. Pass the turn. I could have hid the Doomsday on top. Might not have been a bad idea. We're kind of looking for a Flusterstorm here. Flusterstorm would be very good for us. And I guess hopefully they don't have Entomb Reanimate either. Is this Squee? It is. Goblin the Bob. Wasteland me, huh? Rather annoying. Hopefully they don't play Stifle. Okay. I think I take Dark Ritual if I'm my opponent. I kind of regret floating that out there like that, but nice. That's exactly what we kind of wanted him to take. So now we're going to draw Doomsday. Play Misty. Let's hope they don't have like 50,000 things, because if they don't... Oh, yeah, we just win. Oh, great. Do we just win? No, we don't just win. Shit, we don't win. So I could take Ponder here, but then LED still gets swept up under the Consign. I guess I'll take a Consign. Their Wasteland ended up being pretty good, but like... So I've got a Cycler in hand, and I've got the Duress in hand, so we can go Cavern, Oracle, Wraith, Cavern Oracle, Wraith, Edge. Maybe I hang a third Duress just for giggles. I don't expect them to have a way to... I don't know what I'm trying to say. Duress all the way on the bottom. Thassa's Oracle. Cavern of Souls on top. Street Wraith Edge. Go ahead, I guess. If they cast Ponder, they can't cast Consign, given what they have. Casting Ponder anyways. Okay. So they needed to draw like blue card for turn, and then they shuffled their library. They play Polluted Delta. A new attack for Tamiyo. I guess they need to have drawn yet another Consign. It'd be really funny if they drew Fatal Push. Duress you. Take Consign to memory. Cycle Edge. Cycle Wraith. Cycle Wraith. Play Cavern. Name Wizard. Blue. Blue. Thassa. Boom, baby. Boom. Boom, boom, as Kai would say. Remember when we lost because our opponent just had a random grindstone? Crazy. And then we kind of like, yeah, I think game 3 against Bassi, we just kind of expended too many of our resources at the outset and then didn't quite get there. In any case, we're 2-1 with Hyper Turbo Doomsday. Feeling like I'm loving this deck, by the way. At this juncture, we got to beat Reanimator just without any graveyard hate, which was kind of cool. Double Consign, not good enough. So yeah, you have to bring in Duress for Consign, obviously. Like, you can't just be naked to Consign. I think Reality Ripple's probably too cute. So we could cut that for something. Maybe another Commandeer. I'm kidding. And cut Reality Ripple for, like, a Cabal Ritual. This is someone I might be playing against tomorrow. I don't want to scoop to conceal information. Achilles will be in the tournament tomorrow. These hands haven't been that good. Keep this one. I think they might be on Grixis Reanimator with like stifles, which is going to be fucking annoying. I'm not going to lie. Let's put Brainstorm on top. Mull to 5 here is not the best. That's not bad. 2 dazes. We can do that. Spawners ability, no. We're cooked. Okay. This ain't good. I'm not going to show him I'm on Doomsday. Yeah. All right. That'll happen. How did we sideboard? We're going to be on the play. Dresses. Flusterstorm. I think we'll bring in Commandeer as well. And then we'll cut Forces because we don't want a 2-for-1 ourselves, but we do want a 3-for-1 ourselves. We cut Consider. We cut Days. Why do I not remember what I cut? I literally just went through this. Oh, the Pact of Negations. Those were the last 2 cards. They're always just hanging out there. I forget that they exist. All right. I'm just going to lose to a Wasteland again. Lose to a Wasteland again. I guess I'll Ponder first. Any order shuffle. Got the second land, which is sick. Xander's Lounge. Yeah, so they are in the Grixis Reanimator. Let's do this. Hit him with a Duress. Brainstorm, Force of Will, Stifle, Reanimate, Cling to Dust, you say. I think I take Brainstorm. That makes the most sense to me. Pass the turn. And then we're going to need to find additional mana here to beat the Force of Will. Misty's funny. I'll Underground Sea anyways. We'll see how they wanna play their turn. Another Doomsday. Force of Will, pitch Force of Will. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. We'll pass. Cling to Dust, Doomsday. Okay, so now things are starting to get a little frisky. Lion's Eye Diamond, pretty atrocious draw. I think we're going to get choked by this Stifle. I don't know what just happened to my game. So we can build Storm to beat the Stifle. Might just cast Personal Tutor, though. And let's grab a Duress. Pass the turn. Hopefully we can fade a Thoughtseize from them one time. How many Stifles does he have now? Just the one, huh? Huh. Okay. Oh, they're clinging. Yeah. Sure. So now I've got Flusterstorm. I guess we put Oracle into the pile. We can build Storm with our LED. We'll go Edge, Wraith. Edge, Wraith. Hold the LED for Storm for Fluster. And we'll see what they've got for us. I think that'll do it. I guess I'll just try to pass 3 times. We'll go to 2 here, though. Then we draw. They're back up to 6. Hopefully they don't have multiple Stifles. Draw Edge. Play Lion's Eye Diamond. Go like this. Cycle Edge. Cast Oracle. All right, Achilles took us. The Bowmaster was most unfortunate. I did not build the pile with Bowmaster in mind. I don't know. Sometimes Reanimator doesn't play Bowmaster. They had nothing, so they drew the Bowmaster off of the Cling and their draw step. Yeah. Oh, well. We almost got there. Like, you can just fade the turns, but it just let them draw and, like, make land drops. So, yep. All right. Anyways. All right. 5th and final round. Another classic Scott 3-2 on the line here. Yorion, you say. There's so many manas in this hand. Is it foolish to mulligan something like this? I think I will. It just seems too goofy to me. LED plus Street Wraith is pretty good against what our opponents got cooking, but I think we can probably find our way without it. Well, those are certainly some skippers. Don't any order, Scott. What are you doing? Edge, Dark Ritual. I guess we'll just draw the Misty, use Pondy's ability. No. So next turn we're going to P-toot. And hopefully our opponent is not playing like a Strifo pile here. Yorion Cloud Post into Expedition map, you say? Let's put Doomsday on top of our deck. Island. I don't know what's happening anymore. I don't know what's going on. Am I allowed to Doomsday here? Playing a Yorion deck? What are the odds they have force? Let's try to fire it, I guess. I have no fucking idea what's going on. Another personal tutor, not bad. We'll take it. Another Doomsday. Now they're going to get like Wasteland, aren't they? Urza's Tower. What is existence? Doomsday. Do you have multiple forces in your Yorion deck? What is our opponent playing? I suppose we could do Pact of Negation, Thassa's Oracle, Street Wraith, Edge of Autumn. Edge of Autumn? Done. Pact. Okay. Maybe I should have alternated them in case they're just going to like grindstone me or something stupid. I've never seen blue Cloud Post before with Yorion in my life. All right. Dress downs too. What is happening? Oh my god. Pact of Negation was pretty sick there. Blue Cloud Post. I'm stressed. Blue Cloud Post. I expect that the dazes aren't very good against Blue Cloud Post. The Pact of Negation proved to be decent there. What if we just trim dazes? We could bring in a duress. We could bring in a vision charm. We could bring in 2 forces of negation. And something tells me that I want commandeer as well. We can't cut cavern, I don't think. It's possible we don't need consider. I guess we'll keep this. Could be anything. We'll keep. On a mull to 5. Pretty sick. I boarded in 1 duress, right? I believe I did. I think given that they have this like dress down, it's appropriate. I don't know what are they playing. I would love for them to cast Doomsday just so we could look at their deck. Fawn, if you know what I mean. Let's see what else we can pick up here. You kind of love to see, I think, both of those cards. Use Ponder's ability. No. Pass it up. They're on a mull to 5. We can't protect this Doomsday. That's the one skipper about this. 1 land. That means that we don't want to play Doomsday right now, I don't think. Jesus Christ. This is our turn 2, so I guess we can do with... Well, let's keep Tarn just in case something dumb happens with a Pithing Needle. And I guess I cast Ponder here. Kind of just looking for some way to protect our combo. I don't think that's it. I mean, one way to do it is just to jam 2 Doomsdays like we did last time, but I think I'm going to any order shuffle. Another Wraith. Expedition map. Sure. We could just jam here. We could Street Wraith. We could Brainstorm. What am I looking for, though? I guess it's just Force of Will. I don't mind firing 1 preemptive Street Wraith here. I don't mind firing Brainstorm now. Okay. Now we've lost our blue card for our Force of Negation, which really sucks. Dark Ritual Doomsday. Flusterstorm. Okay. This ain't good. Okay, main phase doing that strikes me as something I love to see. Never mind. Suddenly they have 3 mana again. Passing the turn. Disruptor Flutes. I guess I'll just hardcast Fawn on it. Draw for turn. It's Personal Tutor. I guess we'll fire that off. We'll grab our only duress. Pass the turn. Have I just, like, thrown that, like, I'm being too cautious here? Clearly they had that Flusterstorm up the whole time. I think I spend the Fawn there. It makes sense to me to Fawn. The fuck is this? Reveal the top X cards of your library. For each card type, you may exile a card. You may cast a spell from among them. What is happening, dude? So confused. Duress you. Take Force of Will. Cast Doomsday, but I can't win here. Chase. Thassa. Pact. Wraith. Edge or something? Am I supposed to put... Yeah, I think this will have to do. So... Oracle on the bottom. Edge on top of Oracle. Jace. Pact. Wraith. Go. We don't have days in our deck, so if they're going just for a huge Portent of Calamity here. All right, they scooped it up after that. Got there with Hyper Turbo Doomsday. We lost... Hold on, let me bring this deck up here. Okay, so we lost to the, like, Painter's Servant deck, which is, like, pretty funny. We lost because we got Grindstoned, and I wouldn't have lost. So I was playing around Pithing Needle by putting Street Wraiths into my pile, but, like, not intending to use them. I can't remember exactly how we stacked the pile, but I do remember that the bottom 2 cards were Street Wraiths, and then there was a Thassa's Oracle on top. And the idea was that we would burn through our edges to get to our Oracle with the Urza's Saga trigger on the stack. Um, but then we ended up just having an Oracle on top of our deck that we got screwed by. And then they just got Grindstone and ground us out. So we tried to get tricky, but they were trickier than us. And then I think in the other game that we lost to them, we just kind of like expended too many resources. We're able to put Doomsday on the stack, but then not have like enough cards in hand in order to get the win out on him. So that's kind of on us. And then we played against Conry or Achilles, sorry. And he wastelanded us out of the game. Game one, we had like two bad hands where it was like just like a bunch of lands and not much else. So we mulled to 5. We kept the one lander. We had Doomsday plus Dark Ritual, I believe, on the following turn, if I'm remembering things right. And then we got wastelanded out of the game, but we kept the Ponder where the Dark Ritual was our mana source. Wasteland got us. And then game 2, we like got into a weird situation where they had a Stifle in hand. We could never fetch to protect our Doomsday with the Force of Will. We jammed the Doomsday to try to draw out the Force plus Stifle in the ideal world, but they had drawn a second Force by then, so they went Force, Pitch, Force with Stifle. And then we set up a turn where we duress them to take their Stifle and then cast Doomsday. Our opponent Cling to Dusted our Edge of Autumn, which I would have put in the pile, and then proceeded to top deck Orcish Bowmasters off the Cling or their draw step. And then our like triple Street Wraith Edge of Autumn Oracle pile was just like absolute trash. So like in that spot, obviously having something like Veil of the Summer in your deck would have been a little bit better. But it's also like, I don't know how many. Let's look up Achilles' list because I'm actually going to be playing against them tomorrow, potentially. So it's good to get our loss out of the way. Achilles Tendon. I think it's Achilles 27 tournament results. So I don't want to say that they got lucky with the Bowmasters because obviously they have the Bowmasters in their deck. And they can like draw it. They play 3 Bowmasters. Okay. But yeah, this list is sick. So it just forgoes all the Tamios and nonsense. It just plays Oliphants and attracts as 3 anime deads. 4 like Stifle is sick in Reanimator because it beats the Fairy Macabre. This is all just a rather jumbled way of saying Achilles had 2 draw steps, and we had, I think, almost everything but Bowmasters beat on that turn. We had to pass the turn 3 times. Achilles was able to make another land drop. And then on the last possible turn, we used our Lion's Eye Diamond, our Thassa's Oracle to build Storm. The Stifle came on the stack for the trigger. They had 4 mana left, and we had a Flusterstorm with 4 Storm available to us. And we lost the game because they could pay for the Fluster. That turns out differently if they don't top deck Bowmaster exactly when they did. And yeah, I guess I could have made like a slightly different hand that like passed the turn a couple of times, but I think in that spot with Fluster in hand, I think we're just supposed to build the pile. The most ideal piles like this, but Achilles is a very good Magic player, and so they decided to cling the edge, obviously giving the out of Bowmaster to force me down a Street Wraith line. They probably didn't know that we were on the full 4 cycle, like the full 6 cycler list either at that time, because like their thought was probably like, we're going to take the edge so that they can't cling all the way down. But it didn't turn out that way. Did we have Pyroblast to worry about? There are Pyroblasts to worry about there too. This particular build of blue-black Reanimator with the Grixis splash seems like quite a nightmare for Doomsday with the 4 main deck Stifles, 4 Thoughtseizes, 4 Days, 4 Force of Will, and then the Pyroblasts as well in the sideboard, and the juke into the Orcish Bowmasters. So yeah, that makes things all rather difficult. In order to have a surefire way of beating Bowmasters in blue-black, we would have to play like a Cling to Dust or something to that effect, but that doesn't strike me as that potent either. So yeah, I mean, Achilles is on like a really sweet brew. We beat the traditional blue-black Reanimator. We fell to Achilles, and then we beat I don't even remember what we beat. We beat lands, Cloud Post, and Blue Black. So all in all, it was a pretty sweet showing with the deck. I don't know that I want Reality Ripple. I think I'll probably swap that out for a different card for tomorrow, to be determined. Potentially a Street Wraith. Potentially something else. It's possible Commandeers, just like too cute too, but I kind of like it. Yeah. In any case, here's another Hyper Turbo Doomsday list. I really like the way that this list looks. It looks so clean. It felt really clean. It felt like it worked and did all the things it was supposed to do. So in any case, I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for coming along. If you've been enjoying the Doomsday content, the Storm content, this Cutter content, we'll have more of it coming down the line. Feel free to drop a like or a subscribe to support your fellow interpreter of signs out. But without further ado, I'll sign out. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.